Good night, everyone. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Once again, welcome back to Girl Nita straight out of the 242. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, if you are new here, once again, thank you. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for viewing. But what I really want to talk about is, and also, if you have been here for a moment, I say thank you, thank you, thank you again. Okay, so y'all would have seen the latest post that I would have recently posted about the tornado in the Bahamas. Now, if you from the Bahamas and you're watching, give it a like. Give this video a like and comment down in the description button and let me know if you watch this video. Okay? Now, we in the Bahamas don't ever really experience things like that. We don't ever really experience things like that, honestly. Now, it's been since the hurricane season was coming in, it's been some severe rainy storm lately. And not just ordinary rainy storm. It's like rainy storms that comes with severe thunderstorm and lightning. Certain areas that never really used to flood like that now are flooding. MJ, please stop it. Please stop it. I can take that from you. Certain areas that, excuse me, that's my kid. Certain areas that didn't used to flood are now flooding. And we all know that climate are indeed changing. Yes, climate is changing. And we can see that in the fact of how certain areas are now swamping. Cars aren't really able to drive through main roads because of severe water that are indeed settling in the road. Not just areas, mind you, if you from the Bahamas and you're watching, we all know about Pinewood. We all know about Pinewood Gardens. Pinewood Gardens is known for flooding when there is not even storm. Hard rain for a day and certain areas in Pinewood flooded. But someone made a statement and said the whole of Nassau is now Pinewood Gardens. Because everywhere on the streets, everywhere now on the streets is literally flooding. Flooding. And if you never have been in the Bahamas before, or if you don't know anything about the Bahamas, if you're not from the Bahamas and you don't know, the Bahamas is an archipelago. That's what we call it. An archipelago is a chain of islands that form our beautiful Bahama land. The Bahamas is made up of 700 islands that include keys. As well. Now we live in the Caribbean, if you're not familiar with the Bahamas. And we aren't used to tornadoes or earthquakes, God forbid. But now we're seeing a little of these since this year rolled in, these severe thunderstorms and how climate are changing. Areas are indeed swelling with rain. Certain areas that didn't used to swell with rain or didn't used to settle with water are now settling. And this isn't just low-lying areas or swampy areas. This is areas that aren't even known for swamping or water settling. And we're seeing this. There was passing out by the airport area the other day when it rained. That water settled in that area for a few days. Cars couldn't pass. I would see if I could get the footage to add to this clip for you all to see how that did look. Water settling and people couldn't pass. If you were on one side of the road, you either had to turn around or divert, find a different route to get to your destination if possible. You know, some people clown, but hey, they gotta go in a boat to get from one side to the other. This is literally serious. And if you watch that previous clip, if you would listen to the bystanders that were recording and how they were saying, one person was saying, where this vehicle came from? Was this vehicle always there? When it's the tornado or the storm move it from one place to the other. Now let me tell y'all, there's a lot of little Japanese cars in the Bahamas now that come from Japan. A lot of Bahamians are driving those light vehicles. Now the thing about it is, that was a Japanese vehicle. Yes, it was. They are light vehicles. And the Bahamas has a lot of those on the streets. Now, a lot of those. So if a little storm like that, not even a severe storm, could move that little black vehicle from one portion of the yard to the other, you can imagine what it could do if you are literally driving in the street in the vehicle, moving and air just go underneath the vehicle. There's a lot of little vehicles here in the Bahamas. So if you are a Bahamian and you're watching, be careful. When storms are approaching or when the weather is getting bad, be careful how you're driving on the street, because as you're driving, you're speeding, and the car is actually like to a elevated level, whereas if wind just go under, you're speeding. So that's it. Like you're on a runaway, you're driving, and most Bahamians, they love to speed in those little cars. You're driving and it's like you're on a runway and you're speeding. Air go underneath that certain storm and that lift you right up. So you have to be careful, cautious yourself, and mostly these little cars, they aren't able to drive through water areas. Many of them, if they go into work, water settle in the road, they can't get to work, they have to divert, and hopefully there's a area where they can divert. But things are indeed changing. Climate is indeed changing, because we in the Bahamas, and we are experiencing things that we have never really experienced before. So that can tell you that climate is indeed changing. Believers in Christ would say these are indeed the last days. All of these things happen, and yes, these are indeed the last days, but climate are changing as well. Things aren't the same like how it used to be, when a rain would come, settle, and disappear. When a storm would come and it disappear. I see a young lady would have commented underneath one of the original clips that were passing by on Facebook, and she was like, the thunder, the lightning actually broke out her car back glass, and I can believe that. You know why? There was a situation that happened when I was living on the island of Andros, and I always was frightened by lightning, but never was fearfully afraid of it until I had encountered an experience with lightning. I was in my mommy house. My mommy house is at one place, and my grammy house is right on the side of my mommy house. And this lightning struck. My mommy was standing in her doorway, and there was a lady as well who lived down the neighborhood who was in our house at the same time, standing next to my mom in the doorway. This lightning, I was in the hall. The lightning strike through my mommy window, and it hit her TV antenna in the house, and it blew her television, and it was smoking. That's the first time I saw what a lightning actually could do. And when it came through her window, it had to came from the section where I was between my mommy house and the line that I'm separated from her mother's house. And the rock that was outside split in two. This is factual news. Split in two. So I can believe when a young lady say that lightning struck her glass out. We are indeed the last days, trying times, and climate are indeed changing. Whereas not just the US, the UK, and certain places are having these earthquakes or these tornadoes, it is now happening all over the world. We are in the Caribbean and we never really experienced things like this. But now we are in the Caribbean and we are indeed experiencing these things, and it's not really a hurricane. This is just a tropical storm that was passing over a certain country, and we were just feeling the effect, mind you. And look how terrible it did. You know? Look how terrible it did. I would have shared a video of a water spout the other day when it would have happened when some persons were out at a restaurant eating out west in the Bahamas, out west. You know, close to Gambia area, one of those restaurants by the sea. And this water spout come and it ruined the people night because the storm knocked down all the tables and everything. And now people homes, tornadoes are forming, little tornadoes. Not so severe like the ones that are in the US or so wherever, but it's forming and it did a little damage. No lives was lost, but at the end of the day, look how things are look how things are transferring and transforming in countries that never really experienced things like this. So I just wanted to share with persons that if you are indeed from the Bahamas and you see storms are coming, take it serious. Many Japanese cars are on the road. Be careful in these little small vehicles when storms are happening, because your life and the life of someone else may be in your vehicle, and wind pick up and what your little vehicle is off the road. So you got to be cautious, because there's a lot of Japanese vehicle in the Bahamas. These little small cars, you have these little Paso, these little Swift, you have these little funny name cars. Now the Swift may be a little heavy because it's a Suzuki, and they little kind of heavier than those little Pasos and those little funny names. I can't even call some of them, but yes, we have to be careful. And to everyone all over the world who may be watching this, y'all experience stuff that may be worse than what we are going through, you know? So at the end of the day, each one reach one. News to this little information and this news reaching out to you, at least you'll be able to know what's going on in our little country, you know, here in the Bahamas, what we are indeed experiencing. And I do my best to try and make my contents pleasable and fitting to all. So I bring a little bit of everything to the table. And as things happen, I share what happens here in the Bahamas with you guys as well. But yes, that was severe and serious. And then these were some indeed thunderstorms, serious thunderstorms, serious rains. The water just settled and settled and settled and settled and settled in here, there, and everywhere. Get your little water boots. If you're in the Bahamas, your water boots. Don't cautious yourself. It's raining. The wind is picking up. Leave your little vehicles at a standstill. Park it somewhere severe until everything is back to normal, so you can save your life in instances like these that are happening. You can imagine a car that stands still moving, so you can imagine a car that is driving and wind pickup underneath it. And it's a lot of Japanese vehicle, and I can't stretch that much. A lot of Japanese small vehicles here in the Bahamas, because they are low in price. A lot of Bahamians have those. But then you gotta caution yourself as the weather is picking up. I pray that we don't have any hurricanes or any severe hurricanes, if there be a hurricane that come. But anyways, thanks for tuning in. This is your girl Nita, Spirit of the 242. I just want to caution the Bahamians with those little guys, and even not just the little guys, storms. Don't take things lightly. Don't go outside. You see it's lightning, get down low. You know, lightning flash through windows. It flash. So secure yourself. Make sure your kids are secured. They're going to school. And you know the storm is coming. You drive safely. You make sure you get them before the rain or whatever. Even if you have to get them during the rain, you caution yourself and make sure that you are safe and they are indeed safe. Okay? Thanks for tuning in. This is the girl Nita out of the 242. Bye, everyone.